What's up, everybody? We're back today. I'm super excited. I got a brand new grill. Everybody, this is the Char-Griller Gravity 980. It's a gravity-fed grill and smoker. It's Wi-Fi, it's Bluetooth, it's high-tech. It's all mine, it's brand new. I'm excited. We're gonna get this thing unboxed. We're gonna get it assembled, gonna get it burned in, and we'll see how everything works. Let's get to it. What's up, good people? Welcome back to BKC Cooks. I'm Brandon Carpenter, and today we are unboxing and assembling Char-Griller Gravity 980. So again, y'all, this is a gravity-fed charcoal grill and smoker. It has electronic controls, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, super high-tech. It's super cool. As you can see, I keep looking at it. I can't keep my eyes off. I don't even have a box open yet. But I've been waiting a little while to get this thing. I finally got it. And I can't wait to get things going. I also want to give a shout out. This is my first video since I hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. I thank all of y'all for subscribing and liking my videos and all that stuff. And for those who don't know, 1,000 subscribers is a big deal. It's a big deal to me if it ain't a big deal to nobody else, but it is a big deal for YouTube. So again, I humbly thank all of y'all for that. So we're going to get this unboxed. This thing is 251 pounds. That's what the box says. My son and I are strong. We are strong, but we're not that strong. So I'm gonna unbox it. We're gonna move this piece by piece close to where I'm gonna actually be using it, so we don't have to keep lugging this thing around. And then we'll get it assembled closer to where it's gonna be. So I'll cut it open, get out the major parts, get things moved, and we'll get to assembling. Let's go. Son, I think this might just lift off. Yeah. That thing is a tank. Okay, so we got, this is like maybe like an upper grate. Maybe the handle, another type of piece. We'll find it out. I gotta say, I've only got a few pieces in my hand so far, and this stuff is not cheaply made, it's not cheaply built. This is much heavier than it looks. And so is this. So I'm already pretty confident that they built this right, but they always do. Char-Griller is a great company, and full disclosure, I am an ambassador for Char-Griller, but they didn't pay me to do this video. They never do. They didn't send me this grill. I bought this out of my own pocket because I'm confident in their products, and I'm super excited about what this can do. So we'll get all these pieces pulled out of here and get them moved back to the backyard and throw them all together. This is where the weight is. This is the main body of it. Oh, that thing is solid. See how thick that is? Lift that up, son. It's heavier than you're gonna think. Watch. It's not as light as you thought it was gonna be, is it?
No, that's pretty heavy.
It is. That's because it's insulated, see? To keep the heat in, and it can regulate the heat. Yeah. So I'm gonna get out as much of this stuff out of the inside as I can so it can be as light as possible for us to move it to the back. So we'll get all these parts out of here and get it moved. Always a good sign. It's packaged well, that's for damn sure. And like I said, these components they're not light, you know. A lot of times you get these mass-produced grills and they're kind of thin and cheap, but this is looking pretty good so far. I got legs. Sheesh. I'm pretty sure that piece I took out goes back exactly where I got it from, but that thing was heavy, man. Don't fall. Okay. I want to tear it up before I even get it put together. All right. Well, at this point, I think all we gotta do now is lift the main body out and take it back to where we're gonna be. So we'll get all this stuff moved back there and get assembling. Let's go. All right, so I got it mostly unboxed. Ton of parts. A couple of those boxes aren't open yet. There's 2 more boxes over there that has parts in it. And yeah, I'm convinced I got enough parts to build a space shuttle here, but we're gonna get going on it. It ain't gonna do itself, so I'm gonna at least get started on it. I don't know if I'm gonna finish it today, but we're gonna give it a whirl. So let's get to turning some screws. All right, so quick update. I'm about hour and a half, hour 45 into it. I think I'm about halfway through. This takes a little bit of time. There's a lot of parts. This thing is heavy. You want to make sure you put it all together right. I had a few missteps, but I was able to correct them. It's just stuff didn't line up. Totally my fault. I thought things were lined up. I didn't double check, and I had to go back and reverse a few things. But some things I will note, again, being about halfway through it, have somebody help you with this. If nothing else, have somebody on standby, because at some point you will have to turn this thing over. You will have to flip it a little bit, move it around. And there's a couple things that do require two hands, especially the rack on the bottom that's sitting between the legs and the wheels. You're definitely going to need help with that. But again, I think I'm about halfway through. I'm not going to sit here and go step by step. It's kind of boring. And for me to film that and put this together, counterproductive. I don't have a camera person, and overall I think you'd be pretty bored. But it's coming together. Got legs on, wheels, firebox is on. Still got to get the handle, all the electronics, all the guts, knobs, handles, all that stuff. And I haven't made any connections yet. I'm losing light. I don't know if I'm gonna get this done this evening. It'll be dark in about another hour, and I think I got more than an hour's worth of assembly left. So I'm gonna keep away at it, or keep going at it, and we'll get back to it when we get done. One day. All right, so it's day 2. I ran out of daylight. I would say at this point I'm probably 80% done. The body of the unit is assembled. Now I'm just putting in the racks, the shelving. Still haven't made any electrical connections, but the body of it, the bulk of it is done. So things I can tell you. One, follow the instructions. Save yourself a lot of time. And when I say that, have a helper. I did this by myself. My son, he's pretty strong 15-year-old kid, but I needed his help flipping this thing around, turning it around. And I did need his help holding a few things, and you're gonna come across a few instances where you just need 2 sets of hands. So have a helper. Get the tools together that they tell you in the instructions. One of the things they tell you to have is I believe it's a 7/16 nut driver. It comes in super handy. There's a part that holds the shelf on. I'm looking at it now. I had to try to remember what it was, but there's 2 brackets that hold the shelf on the front on, and I frustrated the hell out of myself trying to put those bolts in with a screwdriver. And I remembered glancing in the front, and they said the tools you needed, which isn't much. I believe it was pliers, a Phillips screwdriver, and this nut driver. That's where you need that nut driver. And I was able to dig one up out of my toolbox, and I went from frustration to super easy in a matter of seconds. So again, do what they tell you to do. Carpenter family tradition, we don't read instructions, but in this case, Dad, please forgive me, because you need them with this. So read the instructions, have a helper. Again, this thing is heavy. It's a big unit, and when I say big, it's long, it's wide. There are going to be things where you're not going to be able to hold everything and put bolts in, things like that by yourself. You are going to need a second set of hands. So it shouldn't take me much longer. I'm thinking maybe another half hour, 45 minutes tops. And I don't want y'all to get the impression that this was like an all day build and that I just built it all day and then it got dark on me. I started this pretty late and it's fall right now. I probably really started around 5 p.m. and it got dark on me. I probably stopped around 8. And again, that's from unboxing, spreading everything out, organizing the parts to the point where I actually started putting things together. So, I mean, if you take an hour away from that between what I filmed, unpackaging everything, organizing everything, you can easily take an hour away from that time. So I don't want you to get the impression that this is going to take you 2 days to put together, because it's not. Couple hours, solid hours is what it's going to take. So I'm going to get back to putting this together. I'll show you a quick shot of what I have together so far, and then get all this together, and we should be burning in pretty soon. So let's check it out. Okay, so this is where I am so far. Again, as you can see, for the most part, it's, you know, it's together. It's just minor things like racks, the electrical connections, things like that. So I haven't plugged in any wires or anything because I haven't reached that part in the instructions. And like I said, one thing I've learned so far, follow the instructions. Don't do anything they don't tell you to do. Don't tighten any bolts they don't tell you to tighten, because you will end up having to go back and loosen those things, because you'll have fitment issues. So you definitely want to listen to what they say. Another thing I wanted to say is, you know, I've probably said 30 times in this video how heavy this unit is, and you know, these days heavy means quality, because you don't get much of that anymore. And on this box, well, it's upside down, but it says that it's 251 pounds, and it says to request assistance. I'm assuming they mean from the associates at the store. But as I lift up this box, that's it's less than 5 pounds of packaging. So, I mean, even if it's 245 pounds, this thing is heavy, man. So again, get some help. Don't be a hero. You're just gonna cost yourself a whole bunch of time and frustration. So I'm gonna get back cracking on these few things. So, oh yeah, these are just the parts and pieces. Again, just like shelving, I got the collector in there already. These are like the pans for the inside of the fire chamber, cooking racks, things like that. So it shouldn't take me long, and I'll just make sure I take my time getting all the connections right. So let's get cracking on it, and we'll get right back to it. All right, so assembly is done. It only took me about another 15 or 20 minutes after I made that last segment. Most of it was making sure I got the wiring right, all the connections right. And everything went together really smooth. Everything else that you saw was just like the racks, and there was a diffuser. But all that stuff went together really quickly. The wiring, again, didn't take a long time. I just wanted to make sure I got it right, because you do end up putting a cover on it, 2 covers actually. I want to make sure I got it right, so I didn't have to undo all that stuff and put it back. So one thing I will suggest, I'm going to show you here in a second, when you connect the wiring to the control box, the control unit, I ended up using some zip ties. They don't include it, and they don't suggest it or tell you in the instructions, but there's these little, I don't even know if you can call them brackets, more like little tabs. I'll show you here in a second, where the wire loom is supposed to rest against. So I use a zip tie to kind of secure that to the power cable, and make sure that nothing gets jerked around, nothing gets pulled out of the cover that stuff is behind. I use 4 zip ties. It's just to make it neat, make sure nothing gets snagged. But other than that, everything went together really smooth. real smoothly, I should say. But we're gonna fire this thing up. I'm gonna show you that here in a second, and then we're gonna start the burn-in process and get this thing ready to cook. These are the tabs that the wire loom is supposed to hang on. So I just used a few zip ties to kind of secure that and make sure it doesn't get snagged or you don't kick it out of there or anything. Completely optional, but I think that's the best way to go. Well, it's all together now. Everything is assembled. Got power to it. Getting ready to light it. So this is the little grate that goes down in the actual firebox or the charcoal chamber, whatever you want to call it. And you can put little fire starters in the bottom of this grate. I've got just a rolled up piece of newspaper. You can use paper towel, whatever, but I always use newspaper in my chimney starter, so I figure it's got to be pretty good in this. So I'm going to drop that in there. I'm not going to fill this up with charcoal. I'm just going to put enough to get this thing burned in because I'm going to be adding wood chunks mixed in with my charcoal, so I don't want to have to try to dig anything out or anything. And on the subject of this thing is cast iron. It's super solid, super heavy, and I don't know if you can see down there, but you see a little white on the left. There's like ceramic brick on the edges. Oh yeah, there's a better view of it there. So the walls are lined with ceramic brick on the very bottom where the heat is actually going to be. And so I thought that was a pretty nice feature for insulation, heat conduction, everything else. So I'm going to get this dropped in there, get some charcoal put in, and we're going to get this thing lit. Already have it connected to my phone. So I'll try doing the controls via my phone. And we'll see what she does. Let's go. That looks like plenty. All right. We got good smoke, which means good fire. We're gonna let this burn for about 5 minutes. They say let it burn for 5 minutes before you turn the fan on, so that's what we're gonna do. We'll let this catch. I hear crackling. I think we're in business. So 5 minutes go past. We'll close the lid. I got that shutter out so we can get airflow, and we'll turn the control on in 5 minutes. So update, my newspaper thing didn't work. I had to get myself some tumbleweeds. If you've never used these before, these are like little bundles of wax that burn really good. I've used them before, actually use them pretty often, but I was being cheap and it bit me. So don't be cheap. Use a fire starter. I used 2 of them in there, and as you can hear, that's crackling, rolling good. So I basically had to start over on lighting the fire, but it's going now. It's been going for about a minute, so 4 more minutes I'll kick the fan on and hopefully it will get things going. All right, it's been 5 minutes. We're going to close this lid, and there's a safety switch there. So, and there's also another down here. So you have to close both of these doors before the fan will engage. So it's a safety feature. So we'll close this one as well. These latches are spring loaded, and yeah, they snap really well. So we're going to turn the unit on. Just heard the fan kick on. So I'm gonna okay, I'm not doing something right. Oh, supposed to hit the temperature button. Yeah, that always works. Again, read the directions, y'all. So I'm gonna set it for 250, lock it in by pushing it there. I did open the damper on the back all the way. That's what they tell you to do in the instructions. This damper slides back and forth, so it's open all the way, and you know it lets you know that you slam it home. So you also got some hooks here, and it came with the tool to grab the grates, move around hot things, and there's room to hang, you know, scrapers or tongs or anything else you want to hang. There's also another knob to hang stuff back here. I don't know what the practicality of that is, but at any rate, it's there. So we'll see how long it takes for this to get up to temp. And we'll get back. All right, so I got it up to 250. I let it stay at 250 for a while, and I ramped it up to 400. So I wanted to burn off anything that might have been lingering inside, and then I took it down to 200, so it's falling on its own now. The fan's not on because it's fan's only going to be on if it's increasing or maintaining a temperature where it needs more airflow. So since it's dropping and it's already that hot in there, the fan is just idle. Not a lot of smoke leaking. Overall, I am pretty happy with what I'm seeing so far. Again, this door is nice and heavy insulated, so it retains heat. I did close the damper up a bit, quite a bit actually, when I wanted to get up to a higher temp. That way it could get there quicker. But yeah, it's a beautiful unit, well built. I think the design is good, and I'm looking forward to doing some cooks on this. So I don't know, maybe I'll cook something today. Well, that's about it for this video. We got this thing assembled, burnt in, it's running, it's functioning, and I'll be documenting my first cook. So I'm not sure exactly what that's going to be. Might be a pork butt, might be some ribs. Leave a message in the comments. Let me know what you want to see cooked on this thing. I'm looking forward to doing all of that and a whole lot more. But yeah, I'm really excited about getting going on this this new grill slash smoker slash high-tech cooking device. So yeah, let me know what you want to see cooked on it, and as always, do me a favor, smash that bell, hit that subscribe button, leave me any comments. All of that stuff really matters, and I do try to respond to all the comments that I can. So again, thank y'all for watching. We'll catch you next time, and next time we'll be cooking something on this new Char-Griller Gravity 980. Till then, y'all be good.